Superjail is one of the most chaotic shows ever created. Like, genuinely, this show feels like it was animated by a bunch of people who were overdosing on both shrooms and caffeine, and maybe testosterone too. But somehow, underneath all of the insanity, there were some really good episodes. In fact, most of the show was pretty damn good. But I went through the ratings on IMDb and looked at what most people consider the best episodes of Superjail. And yeah, some of these definitely make sense, but some of them might be complete nonsense. I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. So today I'm going to be breaking down the top 5 episodes of Superjail. Or I guess top 6, because some of them are tied. Based on ratings, the amount of chaos, how good the episode is, if I even agree with the rating, and whether or not they actually stick in your brain once the violence actually wears off. I'm gonna go through each one, explaining what happens, what makes it work, and whether it actually deserves to even be here in the first place. Because let's be honest, not all Superjail episodes hit exactly the same. Because some of these are peak Adult Swim, and some of these feel like a fever dream you just don't wake up from. But ladies and gentlemen, my name is Becca City Live. I'm stuttering constantly. I know it's very strange. If you enjoy this video, I have a full actual video essay on Superjail already out there. You should go check it out. The thumbnail's probably behind me right now with the cool green screen that I got going on. Like and subscribe if you enjoy it too, because yeah, I make lots of Adult Swim cartoon show thingies, anime, you know, cartoons in general. We're the funny media guy slop channel where, you know, I talk about stuff for like 30 to 40 minutes and you get to eat food while I do it, and it's somehow enjoyable. All right, let's just hop right into the thing you actually clicked on for. I love you. Starting off at the number 6 and 5 spot, we have a two-way tie between The Last Pack and Superjail. Superjail is episode 1 of season 4, and The Last Pack is episode 2 of season 4. Isn't that interesting? Season 4 really started off with some bangers. That's technically 1/3 of that season. Isn't that funny? I'll go in the order of the ranking though, so technically number 6 is The Last Pack. The Last Pack starts off with the warden getting really upset with Jared because he's smoking, and Superjail just experienced a literal hellfire for the past God knows how long. So it's incredibly torched up, you know, it's all beaten up and broken down, and the warden is very scared about fire starting again, which is why he's like, oh, no more cigarettes. Cigarettes are banned from Superjail, even though he was literally the reason why it got lit on fire in the first place, but we'll get to that. It's a weird ordering. So everyone in Superjail is really pissed off because obviously, you know, it's a prison. Everyone there actually smokes cigarettes, including Alice the guard. So everyone's on edge. Everyone's pissed off at the warden. But they find out that the Indian dude, he's got the stash, right? You know, he knows how to make the cigarettes. So they all find his secret lair and they start working together to make cigarettes, right? They smoke up all of his stash, and they end up like doing some weird voluntary sweatshop for the cigarettes. The warden is running around Superjail all happy. He's kind of tripping out a little bit just from the euphoria of the fact that, oh, Superjail's so fantastic, no one's smoking anymore. Not knowing that everyone is smoking cigarettes. They're just doing it underground in the super Indian sweatshop. But he ends up finding out about this little secret lair that they got going on, and he's really pissed off about that. Jailbot starts killing people, and he gets rid of it, and he puts the last pack of cigarettes in a like an item box from Sonic, floating up in the sky as a reminder to all those who dare think about smoking. No more huffing it up. No more taking the edge off. Superjail is in disarray more than usual. Alice is killing people for no reason just because she needs her smoke break. Dudes are having their like lungs filled with car exhaust. And then the doctor's taking that out and letting people smoke it by shoving the lungs into their bodies. It's very interesting. The people who made this show are incredibly creative. I'll give them that. Who the hell thinks of this shit? But the warden, he brainwashes himself into smoking a cigarette for the first time time ever. And he's like, oh man, I'm so creative now. You know, he's drawing paintings and shit. He's so focused. Nightfall comes and everyone has planned to get the last pack of cigarettes, right? All the inmates, they're all gonna try and do it. It's like a big battle royale to get it. But also the warden's there. He's a giant fucking hypocrite. He wants the last pack too. I don't know why he doesn't just turn the item box off, or, you know, turn into a fucking bird, considering, again, I don't know, you know, if you watched my video essay, you know, the warden, he can shapeshift. He can turn into anything. We've seen him turn into flying objects before. I don't know why he doesn't just do that now. He's very inconsistent. The power scaling doesn't make any sense. But this is where we get the Superjail classic giant riot slash just epic final battle scene where they're all chasing after the pack and a bunch of crazy shit happens. And eventually these giants take over. The warden is being smoked by said giants, and he's more upset that the pack of cigarettes has gotten out of his grasp. The bird, and Gary, I think his name is, finally wins the pack of cigarettes. He's chilling, he's watching the sunrise. The episode's over. That's how it ends. Number 6 of the best episodes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I completely agree with this placement. It's definitely just a very solid Superjail episode. It's exactly what you would expect from the show, and it delivers on exactly what the show does very well. Nothing really outstanding, I guess. Like, I remembered this episode existed, right? But it's not like the first thing I think about when I think about the show. It's just kind of yet another solid episode from this amazing series. Number 5, Superjail, at an 8.3, just like the last one. I already explained this to you. I don't know why I'm repeating it. Is kind of a part 2 of the season 3 finale, where the warden and Ash burned everything to the ground. They were thinking happy thoughts. You know, they're the dynamic duo. The warden puts on this Iron Man suit and they just start shooting fire everywhere. The entirety of Superjail is now on fire. He released Superhell. A bunch of demons came out of the bottom of the volcano, and now everything's just on fire. Alice and Stingray, they escaped. I think Jared was just burned alive. I think a jackknife also survived somehow. But we get to see the aftermath, right? Alice and Stingray, they're running away from a bunch of weird aliens because the escape pod they took landed them there. And they're about to perish. But thankfully, Ultra Prison, with the new lesbian lady who is now the leader of Ultra Prison, who was already the leader, but now she's lesbian, and she's all like, oh, peace, and like, she's real hippie now, right? She saves them. She's still in love with Alice, but she's also dating, I forget his name. I think, is it Doug or Troy? I forget the counterpart to Alice from Ultra Prison, his name. But yeah, she's with him now, which is interesting. But the little Jared knockoff, what is her name? Like Jeanette? She's upset because Jared's dead, from what we've heard. At least they think he is. Alice tells her, yes, Jared fucking burned. But they're going back. They're going back to Superjail. They have to stop the warden. They want to get back. They arrive at Superhell. We get the little title that says that. It's very funny. Everything's on fire, like I said before. The demons, people are being tortured. There's statues of the warden and Ash. And they find the prisoners deep underground. That's like the safe zone, right? And they're walking about. They find the doctor. The doctor's like, man, Jeanette, you gotta move on. Jared, yeah, he's fucking dead. He's like right over there. He's dead. He's in that pile of bodies. The puppets is still trying to move this safe that Stingray also wanted to open. It has the keys to Superjail in it. It's from the warden's office. Some of the criminals from last episode escaped using it because the twins teleported them in there at the last second just to kind of chill. I don't know why they're still trying to open the safe. They could just probably leave, to be honest. The keys aren't going to do anything at this point. It's just a stupid B plot, to be honest. Then again, that's kind of what the dummy and Stingray, that whole dynamic is. They're always doing some kind of stupid B plot in these season 4 and I guess some of the season 3 episodes. But we get to the top of the pyramid. Alice finds the warden and Ash. They're being worshipped by these other prisoners who are also burned. They try to stop them. Alice is about to be sacrificed. Stingray and the dummy are still trying to get the safe up these stairs, and they're like, oh, we need to work together. But they're not going to. They're not going to do that. The twins spawn a bunch of numbers or whatever, and it makes the safe go insane, and the safe ends up hitting Ash in the head, freeing the prisoners, as well as knocking Ash out of this stasis he was in when, he was all fiery and making them worship him and stuff. Now he's like less evil because his friends are back. They're telling him like, hey, what's up? Ah, man, we forgive you, man. How are we gonna stop the warden? How are we gonna stop all this? Well, the fire came from them thinking happy thoughts, right? What if they thought about bad things? What if they thought about things that made them upsetty spaghetti? So now everyone's shooting like blue memory fire. Sansa's back. Everyone say hi to Sansa. She's back from the dead in ghostly form from Ash. They're killing all the demons with these memories. These bad memories. Also, Jared, of course, gets out of the pile of bodies, and like we find out he's alive right as the lady and the doctor start making out. Like she's past Jared now. She's finally convinced, and the moment she's convinced, that's when Jared wakes up and we find out he's alive. I love it. Women, am I right? Woman moment. Thankfully, the bad thoughts work and Superjail is saved. Even though it's burnt to the ground, everything's like destroyed and tons of people are dead, it's saved, right? There's no more demons. Everything's gonna be just fine. And then obviously the next episode, everyone gets enslaved by giants to make big cigarettes for them, as we just saw. But, there's never a goddamn happy ending in the show. Number 4 on our list is Season 3, Episode 10, the finale of Season 3, Burn, Stooley, Burn. And yes, I now realize that we have gone backwards 3 episodes in a row. We are going back in the sequence of continuity. This is fantastic. I love talking about things that happened before the episode that I talked about before in the reverse order. That's awesome. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Rating. Thank you for doing that. But Burn, Stooley, Burn. Oh, man. We start off with Ash and a lot of the other, reoccurring inmates, as well as Stingray and the dummy. They're trying to get this safe, right? They're sneaking into the warden's room. Ash is using his fire powers to try and burn through the safe because the key's in there, like I told you before, and they almost succeed, but the warden shows up and they kind of abandon Ash, right? He's in the room with the warden and he's like, oh man, Ash, you're pretty cool. Like, I like the fact that you can make fire. Like, I want to learn this. So the warden takes a liking to Ash, or Ashy. I forget his actual name. I'm pretty sure it's Ash though. Let me know in the comments if I'm being stupid. The guy who should know everything, since I just made a 30-minute video essay about it. And also, I have my computer in front of me. I could just look it right up, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to ruin the flow, all right? We're not going to do that here on the Dakosity YouTube channel. Doing things right. What the fuck is that? What is that? Stingray and the other prisoners are trying to open the safe while Ash is just kind of with the warden hanging out. They're learning a lot about each other. And, they're becoming really good friends. They're actually creating some fun memories. But Stingray and the other inmates, they're like, oh, man, Ash, oh, you're getting cushy with the warden? We're going to use that to our advantage. They start kind of, bullying Ash. They're peer pressuring him into betraying the warden. But he doesn't want to do that, especially since the warden just got him and himself ponies. So since they won't betray him, Ash gets beaten up. They're beating the shit out of him. And the warden, he wants to help. So he puts on this suit and tries thinking happy thoughts like Ash told him earlier. That's how he kind of creates fire. And he ends up actually doing it, which causes a chain reaction under this bed that lights Jared on fire, pretty much kills him almost, as well as his pony. And he goes and saves Ash. And then we get this massive sequence of him and Ash teaming up while they're completely engulfed in flames. And the warden's like shoving fire and switching the gas and water tanks. So now all of the things that spew water in the entire Superjail, they're now completely engulfed in flames. Sinks are spewing out fire. Showers are spewing out fire. The pool is now on fire. They're blowing up everything. The inmates are being burned to a crisp. And they end up setting off the armory, which then sends nukes into Superhell, which apparently is a thing. I don't even think we knew about this until that happened, which unleashes even more hellfire and demons and hell and just chaos and nonsense. Peak Superjail is now unleashed. Shit's just happening on screen and it's really fun to watch. But some of our main characters like Stingray and Alice, they escape through this escape pod, as well as a lot of the inmates who were bullying Ash got shoved into the safe with the twins. To escape, by the way, Jailbot ends up sacrificing himself, which was very sad. And at the very end, while Alice and Stingray are escaping, they end up calling Ultra Prison. I almost said Super Jail. That place doesn't exist anymore. It's Super Hell now, as we see in the next episode, which I already talked about because continuity. I love it. But yeah, this episode and the last one I just talked about, I don't even think I rated it with my own rating. They're both fantastic. Definitely deserving to be on the top 5 best episodes of all time for Superjail. It's a two-parter done very well. To be honest, every finale and every two-parter that they do in this show, really good. Watching the Warden and Ash use these fire powers to just wreak havoc, and then just having these demons and creatures. I love when they add some kind of monstrous element to these riots and like just chaotic scenes that they do at the end of every episode, where there's, because they're really fucking creative, these people who make the show. So a lot of these monsters are just really cool looking, and they're all, of course, based off the Warden. I'm sure he just made Super Hell just for shits and giggles or something. They all look like the Warden. They all have his color palette or something, Really solid episode. Really solid. Next up, we have Dream Machine, Season 1, Episode 8. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is rated an 8.3, just like the last one. We'll find out that 8.3 might be the max here. There might be a 4-way tie. I'm just going down the list properly now. Anyways, Dream Machine, already I'm gonna spoil it. One of my favorite episodes. This is fantastic. Let's just get right into it right now. I'm getting in. I'm digging in it. I'm gonna dig in it right now. We're gonna dig in it. The Warden has a dream, right? He's on a date, a wonderfully high-end date with Alice, the beautiful Alice. Jared's their waiter. Everything's going great. He wakes up. Oh my God, the prisoners, they're rioting. They kill everybody. They kill all the Warden's loved ones and himself. It's horrible. Oh, he wakes up. That's a dream too, but he believes that it is a premonition, right? So he wakes up all of his staff, Jared, Jailbot, Alice. Alice was trying to get her beauty sleep. She's got a bunch of shit on her face. And the Warden has designed a dream machine so he can go shove tubes on everyone's heads, and he can kind of skedaddle into their brains, right, while they're dreaming, and go around in their dreams. And, we get to see what's going on in there. It's very Dr. Seuss-like. This machine looks like it was ripped straight out of the books. The Warden is obsessing over this. He's trying to figure out who is planning this revolt that the Warden dreamed about. And then, no one actually has any proof that this is gonna happen, but he's sure that it is. He's sure that someone is plotting against him, and he's gonna find out. He's gonna go into their brains every single night to do it. He does not leave this machine at all. And everyone's getting sick of it because he's destroying their brains. Their sleep is bad. They're not getting any sleep. So the twins are like, you know what? We're gonna screw with him. So they go to his office while he's, in the little den doing the dream machine. He's growing a beard. And the twins hit this little fart button that puts everyone to sleep, and this cloud gets to the Warden. He falls asleep. He's back at the wonderful dream. He starts having a nightmare. Now they're all in the same dream together, since they're all connected to the brain thing now, the dream machine. I keep saying dream. Remember that from Shark Boy and Lava Girl? Maybe I'll cover that. Maybe I'll start covering fun things that actually gets views. Maybe I'll do that. Like it, subscribe. Let me know in the comments. And we get one of my favorite scenes in the whole show, where the Warden's like, you know what? Go ahead, have a mutiny, have a little riot, a revolt. I'm gonna stop all of you. You think you can take me? You think you can take me on? I'm the king of dreams, bitch. And he grows big. He's summoning all these minions. Everyone else is like, oh, we got dream powers too. So we get this really unique, really creative, just riot, a chaotic scene. And all the inmates who have kind of been killed, but not really in the dream, they become an amalgamation of a giant monster, right? They combine their imaginations together into one creature to fight off their giant Warden. But the twins, oh man, they found the dream machine, and they're just hitting on it, right? They're smacking that shit, and it ends up overloading, and people are just like absorbed into the dream machine. Their essence is absorbed, right? They just die. They become like withered skeletons skeletons, the fucking the demons and creatures that the warden summoned all came out of the out of the dream machine. That they're just shit hitting the fan, man. It's hitting the fan. And the warden just starts vomiting everywhere, right? It's destroying his head. And we end up finding out that it was all actually a dream. He wakes up in real life as a homeless man dressed as a pimp that is actually the warden. And we end on this poster that says, "We're watching you." Very wonderful episode, if I'm being quite frank with you. I honestly, in my personal opinion, it is my favorite, and technically it is tied with the best episode of the whole series. So, you know, oh boy. Yeah, I don't know why I'm faking the nervous laugh. I mean, yeah, Dream Machine, classic episode, obviously. It's episode 8 of the original run, the original season. And it's pretty good. I like it. Grade A commentary, Dakosity, I know. Thank you, Dakosity. You're welcome. You're welcome, Dakosity. Thank you. Season 1, episode 10, the finale of season 1, the second part of the 2-part finale, in fact. Time Police Part 2. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are about to listen to a banger. Let me tell you. Jackknife goes to actual jail in the opening, since Superjail is currently in a lockdown mess, right? It's locked down. The prisoners are all stuck there. Alice and Jared and Jailbot have left because the warden was taken out. And when the warden's taken out, it goes to shit. Superjail has this crazy thing that happens. It just completely locks up. Jared, Alice, and Jailbot are all out of a job. And the warden is currently in Time Prison. A talking bullet that was gonna assassinate someone is talking to him, telling him about Time Prison and like what's wrong with it and everything and how it works. The warden, by the way, was arrested because he was going to become Super Hitler, and Superjail was going to be everywhere all over the planet, and he would be a super dictator. He was planning on expanding to different countries, and that apparently led to that, but he never actually did it. But they stopped him before he could do it. Very, very smart, big brain, ethical dilemma going on here. I'm sure they'll cover that. Probably. Definitely not. But we get to see a little backstory. Little baby warden and his big papa, a jailer dude, the big warden, big papa warden. He's yelling at the baby warden because he's, playing with Legos. He's building the prototype Superjail, right? It's a little Lego Superjail. And he's like, that's stupid. You're a dumb idiot kid. I hate you. You're stupid. Running a prison, yada, 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 and stuff. And then he dies and gets hanged. The Hanged Man. Remember that? I watched PewDiePie play that game. Jared is doing odd jobs around the city to try and make a living, since he can't be the assistant at Superjail anymore. Alice is doing adult films with their gazongas and penis. And the inmates are currently having like a survival gang war. They worship the warden as if he's some mythical being because, there's been generations there at this point. And Gary and the Bird kind of make them all join together in harmony to survive in this terrible place that is Superjail when it's locked up and, there's nothing actually running anymore. Jared's looking for change, and then he spots the warden, but it's actually just a pimp. The prisoners are building a utopia finally, and the Bird is pregnant. With what? I don't know. We'll find out soon. But the warden ends up stealing a little time police thingamajig, and he goes back in time, but not in time. He's actually in the future now. And Jared and Alice are old and worn out, like that man over there. What the hell am I talking about? Jailbot's just like a thing on the side of the road that kids throw shit at, apparently. And the twins are at this runway show where this dude just picks them up and puts them in a van. He kidnaps them, even though they can teleport. But the warden makes it back to Superjail, right? So does Alice and Jared and Jailbot. They get there at the same time somehow, and they open the doors, and look at that. There's a bunch of fucking bird people. Turns out, apparently, the humans, they were interbreeding with the birds, and now they're a bunch of avian human hybrids that also worship the warden. Like, there's a bunch of totems of the warden, and oh my god, the prophecies, he's finally back. A lot of questions there, but he's not happy about this, right? There's a bunch of, he can't be the ruler of a bunch of bird people. That's disgusting. These are horrible creatures. They teleport back to Time Prison or police, whatever, and they start a battle, right? He brings in all the other guys, all the people from every other episode. We see cameos from the rest of the season. They're all there. They're all taking down this giant bean person in the time police, right? In this epic final battle. It's like Endgame. It's like Marvel Endgame. Remember that? Remember that? The Avengers Endgame. Remember that? Remember when Brie Larson came out of nowhere and blew up the ship and then just like gets screwed by Thanos with the power gemstone? Remember that? Remember when all the women were, you know, they did that cool scene where all the women superheroes were in one thing. They're like, don't worry, Spider-Man, we'll help you. You know, they do the arm thing, you know, with the woman arm. Remember that? It totally wasn't cringe at all. I don't know why Ant-Man didn't just go up his ass. Remember when they ruined Thanos' character? I remember that. Remember that? Remember when they made him just another warmongering dickhead instead of some dude with a fucked up philosophy that, you know, if you put it under any scrutiny, it sucks dick. Like his plan was stupid and retarded, but you know, some people thought it was smart. At least it was somewhat compelling. I'd rather him just want to fuck death, but you know what? This isn't a video about Endgame. This is a video about Time Police Part 2 Superjail. He went back in time to free himself, by the way. The warden went back in time in the Time Police thing that's outside of time, but somehow still in time. But yeah, it's a final battle, right? But they killed the Time Police people. It destroys like the time fabric or whatever. Fucking Jailbot is a train, and the warden's a baby sucking off the teat of Alice, I think. And that's how the episode ends. So, like I said before, the finales in this show are really good, and this is no exception. This is just fantastic, right? This deserves to be up here. It's definitely one of the best episodes of the show, especially season one. Season 1 was just fantastic across the board, to be honest, except for the one where they get pregnant, but at least I think that was a season 1. I don't know. We'll find out in the worst episode tier list, probably. And finally, season 1, episode 7, Mr. Grumpy Pants, with a whopping 8.3 like the last 4, because apparently no one else wants to give them a higher grade, even by a point. Even by a point. But we start off with Jackknife pretending to be Santa Claus, robbing children in a hospital who are on their deathbeds. That they have cancer and shit, and he's robbing them of their gifts. What a piece of shit. But it's okay. Jailbot is there to save the day, and he even makes the kids very happy by turning into a Santa sleigh. But unfortunately, Jailbot may or may not have picked up an extra passenger on his way back to Superjail. He ends up bringing back this child to the warden, and the warden, you know, he's very scared of it. He hates it. He hates children. He doesn't like this. He doesn't like this creature that Jailbot has brought onto the doorstep. So he orders Jailbot to pick up the child and get rid of it. And Jailbot dumps the kid off at the furnace, the place where they torch everything, you know, the garbage disposal, but it's fire. But thankfully, Ash is there to save the day. There's another prisoner who wants to eat the kid, but he's gonna save the kid instead, actually. The guy who looks like Freddy Krueger is gonna do that. The warden is out in the field. He's very sick. You know, he looks like an old lady. Jared is yelling at him. He's like, "What the heck? What the heck? There's a kid." That's not true. He's just wondering why the warden is like feeling under the weather. He's sick. Jared has no idea the kid's there. I don't know why I said that. But Ash, you know, he's taking care of the kid. Look at how happy this child is. And he finds out that this kid's name is Sanser because, you know, it says on her thing that she has cancer, or I think her name is actually Cancer, because later down the line, I forget which episode it is, so I probably can't play the clip, but it shows a statue of the child and it says Cancer, and this is like in the middle of normal land, I think, like actual human world instead of Superjail. I'm not sure though. Let me know in the comments if I'm correct on that, if you even remember, because I'm not gonna sift through every single episode to look for that one clip, man. I'm sorry. It's not like I could Google it either. This is still a pretty niche show. But Jared goes to this like ancient Chinese store, very sketchy, to try and find a cure for the warden, and he does. He brings back this can. The prisoners are reading stories to the child. They're taking good care of her, Sanser. And Jared finally arrives, and I actually forgot, he's not sick. Well, the warden is like sick, but he was going to the Chinese shop to get a can for it's like icing for the cake, because it's his birthday. It's the warden's birthday, and I probably should re-record this, but I'm not going to, because I'm a lazy piece of shit, and it already took me 3 days to even sit down and do this. I'm sorry. So to recap, It's the warden's birthday. The child is in the jail. The prisoners are taking care of it. The warden doesn't like the kid. And they got the ancient Chinese goop on the cake for birthdays. And the cake is evil. Ash is doing little fire shows, but Alice finds the child. And we find out that Sansa, you know, she's in trouble. There's things on her organs, right? There's little germs and they're causing pain. The organs are in pain. And she coughs up blood. And Alice is making, man, I shouldn't be laughing at this. Like, she's like making the kid all dressed up to look pretty. And she looks like a fucking, like a Thailand prostitute. Like, it doesn't look good. You gotta remember, this is an Adult Swim show. They do some funny fucking jokes there. Granted, that's not the, obviously that's not what she's going to do with the, you know, the kid. They're not pimping the kid out or anything. It's just funny. Because it's like, oh man, that's fucked up. But Alice gets tranquilized, right? This creature is trying to shoot at the child. Where did this creature come from? Well, earlier, God, I'm stuttering so much. Earlier in the episode, I forgot to mention this, the warden, while alone in the field in his little wheelchair, ends up giving birth to this fucking monster who really hates the kid. That's all the hate he had for the child is now outside of his ass. And he's really fucked up because of that. But the weird demon thing comes back and it just goes right back up his ass. Because now they gotta team up to take care of the child. And by take care of it, I mean kill it. Because the child, it's having a birthday too. And you know what? It's the warden's birthday. How dare she take that away from him? So the warden walks up and he brings his demon imp thing over to the kid and he lets it loose on her. But oh no, all of the prisoners were eating the cake, and what happened to the cake? It had the Chinese goo on it, so now they're all babies. And chaos ensues as usual. Holy shit, I'm stuttering so much. I don't have a mental illness. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I should take a breath and take some water. But the demon's strangling Sansa, right? But the prisoners, they're protecting Sansa from the child. It tries to throw forks at it, doesn't work. But the presents crush her, and all the baby prisoners turn back into normal people, as well as Alice. And they rescue Sansa from the rubble, but she's dead. She fucking died. And we see the memories of the child and all the wonderful love that she brought to the place. And then we get In Memory of Cancer, 2004 to 2008. And then the episode ends. I can see why this is considered the greatest episode of Superjail, even though it's tied with 4 other fucking episodes. Thanks IMDb. Thank you so much for that. It makes my job so much easier. Thank you. Really. These videos are just like filler slop anyway. But you're watching it right now. You're watching it right now, aren't you? Nah, I like doing this. I already watched the whole show, so I might as well. But yeah, this episode is really freaking good, to be honest. Like the last 3, it really captures just the essence of why Superjail is so great. And there is an added bonus of, oh my god, there's a cute little kid. It's so funny. The cute little kid. Oh, it's very wholesome. You know, the warden is kind of a dick in this episode, though. But I guess that's part of his character, regardless, right? He's very he has an ego, and even if children are involved, he's got to be the center of fucking attention, man. He's got to be the center of attention, just like me, right now in the middle of the screen, just like me. Anyways, that is the top 6 episodes of Superjail, I guess. If you enjoyed the video, go check out the video essay I made of it. If you haven't already, it's pretty good. And I'm going to make a worst one too. Stay tuned for that, as well as all the Adult Swim shows that I've covered. And also, I love you. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. You're amazing. Thank you so much for watching this. I love you.